Proverbs chapter 19. Better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool. And it's implying a rich fool. Also, that the soul be without knowledge. It is not good. And he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. Now, as one can easily read into verse 2, that of hastening with one's feet along the path of life, and that is making bad decisions without knowledge. You make bad decisions and you haste with your feet instead of thinking a thing out. Remember, take this life, speak very little, only whenever it is absolutely necessary, really, and think your next move out. Be very content, prayerful, in God's will, and you'll make it through this life relatively fine. Verse 3, the foolishness of man perverteth his way, and his heart fretteth against the Lord. Many people blame God for their problems. Only fools blame God for their own problems. Wealth maketh many friends, but the poor is separated from even his neighbor. And in so many other proverbs, the commentators believe that this is more warning against the love of money. Yes, with wealth, you'll have many friends because many people will use you in order to get what they want because the world loves money. So you're going to attract all kinds of negative attention, if you will, the bad kind of attention. But the poor is separated from even his very neighbor. And we saw this in the case of with Christ. We've seen this about he gave and gave and gave, the feeding of the 5,000, and once that he just wanted to preach to them wisdom, give them wisdom and the gospel, suddenly they all went away. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall not escape. Many will entreat the favor of the prince, and every man is a friend to him that giveth gifts. And once again, this is probably warning those in exalted positions to any great position, whatever it may be, to be on guard against those who suddenly surround them, as most will not have any more than their own interest in mind. All the brethren of the poor do hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him? He pursueth them with words, yet they are wanting to him. GUZIK had really good commentary at this point because the picture is that of a poor man in whom is going after his friends and almost begging them for help, and they refuse to help him. What a contrast to Jesus, GUZIK noted, who himself became poor to draw near to us in our poverty and need. By nature, people run from the poor person. Even when he tries to persuade and pursue them with words, in contrast to all of these things, God pursues the poor and needy. Verse 8, he that getteth wisdom loveth his own soul. He that keepeth understanding shall find good. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall perish. Delight is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes. And this verse 10 is warning against that of giving too much to someone in whom only serves their own belly. We see this a lot with lottery winners, and you don't have to go very far to find the list of people in whom suddenly gained a tremendous amount of wealth and wound up in such horrible circumstances, even many of them die very, very poorly. Verse 11, the discretion of a man deferreth his anger, and it is his glory to pass over a transgression, which is a very complimentary way of saying it is great to have a merciful spirit, to pass over transgressions. The king's wrath is as the roaring of a lion, but his favor is as dew upon the grass. A foolish son is the calamity of his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. House and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent wife is from the Lord. Now this is actually quite lovely because what it's basically saying is that your father may be wealthy, or your grandfather or somebody. They may leave you an inheritance and with houses and great riches. That's possible. But you can only gain a wise, prudent, God-fearing wife. That only comes from God. Slothfulness or laziness casteth into a deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger. He that keepeth the commandment of God keepeth his own soul, but he that despiseth God's ways shall die. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and that which he hath given will he pay him again. Chasten thy son while there is hope, and let not thy soul spare for his crying. He's going to cry. He's going to do anything in order to get you to stop disciplining him. But it must stand in order for him to learn. While there is hope, meaning before sin settles in and has its grip, before the devil is able to grab him, before the world is able to snatch him away, you have first bet. You are the one in whom can train him up. A man of great wrath shall suffer punishment. For if thou deliver him, yet thou must do it again. What's being said right there? Let's just pay close attention to this one. Meaning that if one of these rage-filled people, be it man or woman, we've all known of some like this, their anger gets the best of them. They're always in a gloomy mood and they're angry about something or someone. But if they get themselves in a really tight spot, if you deliver him by paying for him or otherwise ridding him of the penalty, whichever it may be, which his passionate action has brought upon him, his unbridled temper is sure to bring him into trouble again, and so you had better let things take their course. And such types I find are very manipulative. They'll give you a really sob story and they'll a pity party and, oh, life is woe is me. Everyone's going through something, okay? So let them suffer such a penalty. Don't just bail them out all the time. They have to learn, many times the hard way. Hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. Now that latter end is denoting either in old age, be it your 60s, 70s, or right before you die in your 80s or something. There are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel is of the Lord that shall stand. The desire of a man is his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar. Now real quick, what is meant right here? The desire of a man is his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar. In essence, saying that a poor man who would do a kindness if he could, is better than a liar. That is, a rich man who could help another, but professes to be unable to do so. He's lying about having the means to help. So far better to be of a kind heart and not have the means than to have the means and be cruel. The fear of the Lord tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. The fear of the Lord. He shall not be visited with evil. That doesn't mean that calamity will not come upon you. That just means ultimate evil. A slothful or a lazy man hideth his hand in his bosom, to which it would be like putting your hands in your pockets today. He always puts his hands in his pockets, and will not so much as bring it to his mouth again. To which the imagery is that of a man in whom puts his hands in his pockets and will not work. Well, then those hands will remain in his pockets come dinner time. Smite a scorner, and the simple will beware. They'll see it and know that there's punishment for such. And reprove one that hath understanding, and he will understand knowledge. He that wasteth his father, and chaseth away his mother, is a son that causeth shame and bringeth reproach. Now what that's meaning is that every time that you enter into a room, if you're a shameful son, your mom will get up and walk out and leave the room because she just cannot bear the humiliation that you've brought upon the family, which is followed immediately by verse 27. Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causeth to err from the words of knowledge, that is, bad instruction. Just know that you can receive instruction from everywhere, but there's only one good instruction. There's only one good understanding, only one good wisdom, and that is God's will. and through Christ Jesus. An ungodly witness scorneth judgment, that is, a lying witness, someone in whom will lie on behalf of a criminal in court. They scorn judgment. And the mouth of the wicked devoureth iniquity, they eat it up. Judgments are prepared for scorners, and stripes for the back of fools. Now notice how judgments are prepared. That means that God himself has prepared a long life's line. God himself has prepared that there is a certain moment for the judgment upon such scorners and fools.